This is Ferrari's take on what a modern everyday use supercar should be. And spoiler alert, well, it's fantastic. Hello and welcome to yet another DubiCars video. We're at GTB and this is the Ferrari 296 GTB, and well, it looks fantastic, and we're gonna show you what's in there, what's under the bonnet, and what technology this car is hiding. So let's get started. Let's start off from the front. It's got vents and all the right place. Of course, it's got your LED headlamps, you've got your LED DRLs. I'm not going to go into those, but then I want to concentrate on the active aero elements and also the passive aero elements. You've got vents right under the headlamp. You've also got a huge vent down underneath with a flap that channels air through the bottom of the car for additional suction to the ground. Of course, you need a lot of downforce with the kind of performance that this car comes with. And well, with that, we kind of look at the front. Even though it's got so much aero packed into it, it looks fantastic, it looks beautiful. It's as if Ferrari have not been trying at all, but then they have done it. They have simply achieved it. You've got splitters at the front. Now let's move on to the side, and well, you can see the 20-inch wheels. They are dual tone, they look great. They're shot with Bridgestone tires. Up front is 245 and at the rear is a 305 section Potenza sport tires. You've got the huge wing mirror. You've got a camera in there. You've also got a camera up front and at the rear, so that you've got the 360-degree view. Now this car is specially equipped with that. It's an additional option that has been provided on this car. And finally, you've got the vent at the side behind the door, and that is to channel cold air towards the engine, because that's where all the magic happens. And let's go to the rear. While we're on the topic of active aero, it's time to pay attention to this vent here. Now this is a very subtle design element. It looks great from the side. It's not really visible to the naked eye, especially from a distance, but then when you look at the details, it channels air through here, which then goes onto the engine bubble, bounces off there, and then goes into this vent here, which comes out through here. Again, that is an aero element that pushes the car down, especially at higher speeds. At 250 kilometers per hour, it has nearly 300 kilograms of downforce acting on the car through just the air. That is simply fantastic. And at the rear, well, you've got the spoiler, you've got more active aero elements and passive aero elements, especially down beneath. You've got the huge diffuser that channels air from the front all the way to the rear and pulls the car to the ground. And you've got this really great looking exhaust right in between, centrally placed exhaust. Right above it is the Ferrari prancing horse. Now in here is a 2.9 liter turbocharged hybrid powertrain setup. Now let's take a look at it. It is sitting lower than in the F8 Tributo. It's almost 15 millimeters lower, and that's because they've redesigned a lot of engine components. I'm not going to get into the details, but let me tell you this. It's a hybrid setup, so you've got your V6 petrol engine combined with an electric motor. So the V6 alone produces 654 horsepower, and the electric motor by itself produces 164 horsepower. Combined, they produce 819 horsepower, and that gives it stellar performance figures. So you get 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 2.9 seconds, and then you've got a top speed of 330 kilometers per hour. On EV mode alone, yes, you can drive it in EV mode. It's a Ferrari, and yes, you can start it in silent mode without turning on the V6 engine. You can still drive it in EV mode for 16 kilometers. That's because you've got a 6.5 kilowatt lithium-ion batteries in there, and sandwiched between the engine and the gearbox is that 164 horsepower electric motor. And as a result of that 164 horsepower motor, you can drive it at a top speed of 120 plus kilometers per hour, 126 kilometers per hour, just in EV mode alone. Now all this from a supercar. Well, it's supposed to be gas guzzling, but well, it really isn't. It's the future, and the future is here. So there it is, fantastic engineering by Ferrari. Now this is a place that will leave you mesmerized for sure, because it is driver focused. Everything in here screams driver focused, including, let's start off from the steering wheel, shall we? Now this steering wheel, flat bottom, of course, it's equal parts carbon fiber and leather. You've got contrast stitching on it, of course, and you've got loads of controls on it. You've got the haptic button for the engine start stop. That is so cool, because until now Ferraris used to have a physical button, but now it's a haptic touch button. There are a lot of haptic touch buttons on here. You've got a dial kind of switch over here to change the suspension settings depending on whether you're driving on the road or you're driving on track. You've got your controls for the wiper blades and windscreen wash. You can tune various things in here, and right behind the steering wheel are the massive paddle shifters, of course made of carbon fiber, and then behind it is this unique cockpit kind of setting wherein you've got the air conditioning vents directed towards the driver. You've got a massive screen right in front of you, and you've got a few other controls on it. Of course, they are also in haptic touch. So that was for the driver. If you're the driver, well, it's great. What if you're the passenger? Well, you have a little screen here that displays a lot of information for the passenger. You've got your controls for your HVAC, your climate control, you've got controls for the audio, the infotainment, etc. And especially if you're in track mode, well, you've got a screen there that displays the vehicle speed, the vehicle engine RPM, the gear it is in, etc. So there's a lot that the passenger can take benefit of, especially if you're out on track and you're having a jolly time. Its compact size and the hybrid powertrain might fool you into thinking that it's one of the many supercars or sports cars out there. But the way it accelerates and its power to weight ratio, well, it puts it clearly close to hypercar territory, because, well, it's just 10 kilometers per hour slower than the Ferrari flagship, the SF90 Stradale. You can find this Ferrari 296 GTB and more like it from Steerwell Cars on the DubiCars app, or you could head to dubicars.com and find this right now. Well, if you're getting this car, you're gonna have a ball of a time, that's for sure. That's it from us for now. Thank you so much for watching. This is Stephen Neal signing out for DubiCars. We'll see you in the next one.